Over the past few years, Bungie has become an extremely controversial company because a lot of gamers just want them to put out a new product besides milking Destiny 2 to the ends of the earth, but also they've opened up a lot of unnecessary divisions within their company. But now the developers are coming out saying the atmosphere there is soul crushing amid layoffs, cuts, and a fear of total Sony takeover. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, Bungie has faced some major rounds of layoffs over the past year, like a lot of video game companies. I mean, it is unfortunate that people are, losing their jobs, especially some people that end up being very passionate people who have worked on a lot of the larger, more fan favorite projects at the company. But there are a lot of individuals who probably shouldn't have even been working there at the first place that are getting laid off. So it says 1 month after a major round of layoffs impacting roughly 100 employees of the 1,200, those remaining at the Destiny developer say the cuts, as well as other cost-cutting measures, came alongside an apparent scramble by studio leadership to avoid a total Sony takeover. Now, I, over the years, have not been the biggest fan of Sony. I'm sure that you already know, but they unfortunately are not very great when it comes to developers and allowing them to release whatever content they want on their platforms. They have become very heavy-handed in terms of censorship, but when it comes to Bungie specifically, I think that we all expected this to happen because it was a major purchase, right? Billions of dollars Sony spent on Bungie. They're not going to just let them do basically whatever they want because at the end of the day, they do need to make money. Now, I think Sony might be taking the fact that they've got a lot of competition in the industry seriously, and maybe they want to actually divert money into development costs instead of paying people huge salaries for expensive and unnecessary positions, because when you finally get into the nitty-gritty of who has been laid off at the company, it won't surprise many of you. So the sources who spoke and pointed out that many of the Bungie employees who were laid off were beloved community leaders within the studio. They included many who spearheaded employee inclusion and support efforts. Several people they spoke to expressed anger at the layoff of Bungie General Counsel Don McGowan, who played a key role in Bungie winning an historic suit against a player who harassed a Bungie developer. But others laid off included a noticeable number of members of Bungie's DE&I clubs, including the co-heads of Pride at Bungie, Women at Bungie, and Accessibility at Bungie. And when combined with other recent resource cuts, these dismissals have led to fears these clubs might be shut down. Oh no, the DEI clubs might be shut down at Bungie. That was the only thing that was gonna save them. I mean, come on, these people are so dramatic at times. While researching this article, IGN noted that the public news articles surrounding Women at Bungie and Accessibility at Bungie on its official blog were no longer accessible, though it's unclear exactly when or why this happened, or if it's just an unintentional recurring bug with the blog. It's like IGN is trying to bully them into putting them back up, like, oh, this might just be a big bug, hoping that like the people at Bungie who took these articles down might go, oh my god, this IGN article's bringing so much negative attention to us, we've got to back up and rethink our plans. This to me is hilarious because we don't need a Women at Bungie division, an Accessibility at Bungie division, or Pride at Bungie division. We do not need these things, okay? These were expensive and straight up garbage positions within the company. Some of the people that they let go were a complete and utter waste of money because you do not need all of these DEI efforts going on at the company. Yes, I understand having an HR department, and if something bad is happening at the company, maybe like one male employee is harassing another female employee or something like that. Yes, there should be HR obviously to go to, but that's not just for those, gender specific or inclusivity specific situations. That's just a department in general which exists at every single company. And this is not going to be very sad for a lot of people to hear, because over the past few months, Bungie has faced much backlash for all of these DEI efforts they have tried to shove into the faces of consumers. I'm sure that you all will remember introducing Latin at Bungie, and these were their, LatinX efforts, and this was only in October, so a few months ago. They said ideas are employee resource groups to help Bungie employees connect with people of similar cultural backgrounds and their supportive allies. Hispanic Heritage Month is underway, and we are proud to announce one of our newest inclusion, diversity, and equity associations, Latin at Bungie. So over the past couple of years, they have pushed out so many of these. Again, women, Latin. We've got all of these inclusivity efforts that are just not necessary. Yes, anybody should be able to work at your company no matter what their cultural background is. That's perfectly fine, but we can't sit here and tap every single person on the back and say, yes, you're doing a great job, you're so important. Like, that's just what being an employee of a company is. Sometimes, yes, you do kind of go unrecognized, and sometimes you're a little bit more recognized. Not everybody needs their own DEI initiative to feel better about themselves and to feel better about their lives. And let's be honest, Bungie has been struggling in the eyes of consumers over the past few years. The only game that they have been milking to the ends of the earth is Destiny 2, and I know a lot of people love it, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have put out so much extra content for, Destiny 2, because it is such a popular game, but at the same time, it's the only thing they've been doing. And recently they announced a Marathon remake, but even that they said was coming out at the end of 2024, so that is still at least a year away. It is just unacceptable, the fact that they are putting things like DEI programs in front of putting out legitimate content. And again, maybe this is Sony, because yes, there are employees that are worried of a total Sony takeover, but maybe Sony is thinking to themselves, we need to cut these DEI clubs because they are not bringing in money. All they have done is brought public scrutiny to Bungie, and maybe Sony, yes, is finally taking their competition seriously. And I know that I would much prefer them put all of the, money that they were putting to these huge, salaries and garbage positions toward things like development costs. I do think that that could be a massive win for gamers, but I think that this situation in totality is absolutely hilarious. Oh, boo-hoo. The DEI clubs are being shut down at Bungie. I think that this is great. I think that it's hilarious, and I honestly hope that more companies follow in these footsteps and go, you know what, these positions and these clubs are utterly useless. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.